What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com. And hands down, I'm already speaking this in existence. This is going to be one of the best episodes that we ever had here at Heartletics on the podcast. Not only because we have the one and only Coach Jimmy, but the fact that this episode, we're going to be going into so much detail about how this man has accomplished his goals of losing over 130 pounds. Started off at 430 and getting all the way down to his goal weight of 300 pounds. We're going to be going inside an inside scoop, interviewing him firsthand and talking out and just figuring out, hey, what are the three biggest fat loss mistakes that most people are making, and how do we make sure that, we don't make the same mistakes? So with that being said, Jimmy, welcome to the podcast, brother.
What is up, Coach Joe? How we doing?
I got to say, man, hands down, best day ever. Best day ever, man. Not only because every chance I get, an opportunity to talk to you, I feel inspired, but all the viewers, right, that tune in and listen to the podcast, dude, everybody loves your story. And today's story, we're doing an inside scoop, man, into how you lost literally over 130 pounds. It's unbelievable. But we literally were talking before this call, man. Even now becoming a coach, you always cease to just amaze me, man. Like, you blow the expectations out of the water. So are you excited to dive in today?
I'm so excited, man. I can't believe it's been a year already, man. Honestly, it's just flew by, and it's just unbelievable where I'm at now. But
it honestly feels like it was yesterday. And for everybody out there that's tuning in, listening in, they're probably wondering, well, what is yesterday? What did that feel like? And let's talk about that. Let's tell everybody and bring them through the journey of Coach Jimmy, from clients starting off at 430 pounds. Actually, before that, right? Because obviously, me and you are going on and back and forth. Why don't you share everybody kind of a story about who you are, what led you to eventually getting where we are, how we got connected? Like, you saw the ads and me and you started texting. You thought I was a robot. Just take the mic, Jimmy. Tell everybody.
Sure. I love going through this. It's just because of where I'm at now. In my younger days, I was a football player and athlete. I've always been a big guy. But it never really, it always bothered me. I was bigger, but it was easy for me. I was athletic, strong. Go through my 20s, I put more and more weight on, and then I got married, started having kids. You know how it goes. You get into the dad mode, the work life, you're busy. And I just kept putting weight on. And I would try things here and there. I've tried keto, I've tried intermittent fasting, I've tried Weight Watchers, LA weight loss when it was LA weight loss. Everything, low carb. And, sometimes I would lose weight. Sometimes I would lose a lot of weight. But, those diets just aren't sustainable. And as soon as I would stop, I would gain weight back plus some. I could just never stick to anything. And the years went by. And, this, before I signed up, I think I saw an ad on Facebook of you. And I've seen a million ads of a million different programs, all over the place. But I don't know, there was something about when I saw your ad, I'm like, it intrigued me. So, I looked further into it, started following your videos and joined the Facebook group. And when I did that, I guess it automatically, you get my info, or when I sign up, email list.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me explain. So, because I'm sure this is very common for most people, right? They download, right? They see my Facebook ad, usually me with my shirt off or me with my son, and I'm promoting about these 7 fat loss habits for success, because that's what we go over inside of our coaching program. And you get opted into a CRM software because you have to put in your name, your email. And then from there, I begin that process of, okay, this individual, downloaded my fat loss guide. Let me see if maybe potentially they could become a client one day. And I remember, Jimmy, because me and you going back and forth, and you thought I was a robot at first. You didn't believe I was real.
Yeah, I got a text sent over. I believe it said something to the effect of, "Thank you for signing up for my free guide, and joining the Facebook page." And I was like, I don't remember if I texted back or not. And then I received another one from you, and I think I did text back. And then it started, we started going back and forth. I don't remember all the messages, but I do remember one message you sent me. It's unforgettable. Well,
yeah.
Right here. Yeah, we were talking about my nutrition and everything, that I've been through. And like you see here, it sounds like I need a plan. And I said, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Problem is I probably, can't afford it. And then I never forget. I've told this to you a million times. You read there. You can
let me just read it. I'll read it out loud. So, Jimmy immediately goes into, hey, I probably can't afford it. And I hate hearing that because immediately he's putting something to a price where we didn't even talk about a solution, So Jimmy, I'll be real. I'm a real person texting you at this point. It upset me because, we were talking about your goals and just figuring out a good game plan, just figuring, hey, it might be best to just hop on a call and talk. And then immediately you said, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I do need a plan, but I probably can't afford it. Not even knowing what the price is because we didn't even talk about that. And you upset me a little bit, right? Because everybody wants to know about the price, right? And obviously we talked about that before where it's just like, hey, we need to figure out if it's a good fit first and foremost. And later on to the end of this podcast, you're going to be sharing with everybody, your job and roles as a qualification call. But I remember specifically texting you back saying, you can be fat and lazy, with money, or, happy and fit with no money. Because, guess what? You can always make your money back in life, but you cannot make back your time. And I wish I would have added to that and talked about, making back your happiness as well. But so what happened, right? You received that text. I'm sure you probably felt triggered. I'm sure you probably felt pissed off. Most people would.
Yeah, I got really pissed off. I'm like, I said, who the hell does this guy think he is? He wants me to sign up for his program, and he's, calling me fat and lazy. I'm like, there's no way. I'll punch him in the head. But I was pissed off, and I think that was that. And it just stuck in my head. Those things are just like, what the heck why in the world would he say that if he's trying to get me to sign up?
Yeah.
And it just kept playing over and over in my head. And I'm like, a couple of them, like, he's right. You're right. You called me out and you're right. I just didn't want to hear it at the time. Sometimes you don't like hearing the truth about yourself when it's not pretty,
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And that just kind of, and then I'm like, well, why would he say that? And it made me think there's something to this guy. He's telling me this. I mean, he knows that it's going to piss me off. So obviously he's not just trying to get my money. He obviously, cares and wants to see me change and be healthy. And that kind of got in my head, and I'm just like, somehow, some way, I have to figure out how I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's leave everybody in suspense right there, right? Because I definitely want to talk about, our call, remember the walk before you run, right? We want to talk about that all into detail. And then obviously the progression, what led to the losing over 130 pounds, which is still just incredible. But I want to hear, Jimmy,
oh my God, look at that. Jesus.
I know, right? Like it's, can you even believe at that? I mean, look at your face too. It's just like, that was a whole different person at one point. It's insane. And there we are, man, flexing together after we met up for the first time face to face. And hey, I'm very happy that you didn't punch me in the face because I see wrestling in the ring, man. I don't want to take any elbows. I don't want to take any blows. I already got knocked out once in boxing. I don't want any more concussions. But before we get to, what led to that successful transformation, let's talk obviously about the title of today's podcast, the 3 biggest fat loss mistakes, because I want to make sure that if anybody's tuning in for the first time and they don't know anything about Heartletics, and let's say they're very similar to yourself, Jimmy, where, in the beginning, they're struggling with energy. They're struggling with bad habits, right? They're struggling with lacking confidence and just struggling with their overall health. I don't want people making the same mistakes that you were making for so many years. So if you don't mind, tell everybody kind of like the inside scoop here, because I'm sure everybody wants to know, like, what would make you successful? But first, how do we figure out, how do we get over these mistakes so that way people don't make the same mistakes? Jimmy, do you mind sharing? What's number one?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, the number one for me is thinking you can do it on your own. So many guys for so many years, even myself, I just thought I could do it on my own. You hear all these fad diets and things, and just like, oh, I'll give that a shot, and you feel like you can do this on your own, and it's a mistake. And the sooner you realize that, the better for you. Is you need help, you need guidance, you need support, because you're not an expert. And honestly, if you knew what to do, you wouldn't have to keep looking for something new to do. That's my number one there.
Dude, and I always make that mistake, right? I pay for it financially, right? Like Facebook ads, right? I'm not the best at that. And so at the time, our first few years in the business, I tried doing it on my own. First year, I lost $50,000. Second year, I lost $30,000, just trying to do it all on my own and realizing here that it's actually a lot less expensive if you just pay for the ones that's going to do it right the first time, because, all that trial and error and wasted time is a lot of wasted money as well,
Yeah, a lot of wasted time.
What about the second fat loss mistake?
The second is continuing to do these fad diets knowing that they're not sustainable. So for years, like I told you, I tried keto, I tried low carb and intermittent fasting, and I would lose weight.
Yeah.
But I would gain it back plus some. And knowing that, I would try it again. It's a mistake. You just got to realize that that's not sustainable, and it's not the right way to do it. It's a quick fix. It just doesn't last.
Yeah, 100%. And now anybody that's looking to cut out their carbs and thinking that's the easiest way to see the number on the scale go down, you're right. But it's just like when you drop your phone into your, pool or, the water. If you look up on Google, it's going to say, put your phone into a bowl of rice, and that rice is going to extract it. Well, it works very similar in the body where, hey, guess what? When you stop eating carbs store water in the body, you immediately see the number on the scale go down, but it's just water weight. What we teach guys now, obviously, Jimmy, is, the difference between true fat loss and just losing weight, big difference.
Big difference.
What would you say is the third biggest fat loss mistake that most guys make, or maybe that you made yourself?
Sure. And this is a big one because it's hard to realize it. It's not realizing the things you're doing, the bad habits you have.
Yeah.
Not realizing the effect that has on the people you love the most. For me, it's a big part of me realizing I needed to do something is seeing my kids, following my bad habits. And, it's just heartbreaking realizing that what I'm doing not only is hurting myself, but, my kids are taking right after me, seeing me do it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't really know that they're doing that, Like I know a lot of people that, would say that, hey, I'm on a diet, and hey, I can't eat this because I'm on a diet. And your kids might be hearing that and you not even knowing that that's getting into their mindset about this unhealthy relationship between what's good and what's bad. And anybody that's wondering what's good and bad, food is food. Right? Food is equal to fuel, honestly. Like that's what's going to help you burn body fat. And if everybody wants more tips on that, we did a podcast talking about good foods versus bad foods, more into details all about nutrition. But obviously, Jimmy, you went through all this, right? These 3 of the biggest mistakes, right, that you experienced. But then what happened? The last time, obviously, we went through this text message, right? I said, hey, you could basically be, fat and broke, or at least, healthy and broke. Like, what's your option here? And that something like that triggered you to say, okay, let's hear what this guy has to say. And then you went through the steps of scheduling a call. And I guess tell us a little bit more about that. And then what led to the successful transformation of where we are today.
So, I knew it was time. I scheduled the call because I needed to do something. And, when you schedule the call, you get some emails and some videos to watch, some homework to do. I did all that and, received some texts from you before asking if I was ready. I was really nervous because I was scared. I didn't know if, I could do this, if I could make it through it. But we had the call, and, how the call went was you let me tell my story, let me talk about myself and ask my goals and what it is I want to do. And then, the hero's journey came. You told me the hero's journey.
Yeah. And I'll never forget, that just at the end, it was so hard, right, for you to invest. But it was one of those things where you told me, it's costing you more kind of staying the same, and that, hey, at this point, you realize here, you're like, I'm probably going to have to ask my wife for forgiveness because, I'm definitely not asking her for permission. I'm moving forward with this. Let's roll. And I remember that was the first time where you just became selfish and put yourself as a priority. And then, fast forward, right, you being on the program, and I didn't remember hearing too much about you, honestly, because we always tell guys to engage inside the community groups, be open-minded, right? Like partake. And here you are. You were kind of just doing your thing, man. But I just remember getting a message from you at one point. Remember what you asked me?
Trying to remember which one you're talking. Was it?
Was it for the 12 weeks?
Huh? Oh, yeah. I asked you. So, what is the record for weight loss in the 12 weeks?
Yeah. And what did I say?
You said 55 pounds.
Yeah. And then here goes Jimmy, right? Once again, I already mentioned, right? Always just surpassing what I ever think about you, man. Just blowing it out of the water. Just seems to be, it's crazy. Here goes Jimmy, right? Just loses 75 pounds, 12 weeks, 90 days. It's insane. And then, right, we go into the mindset coaching phases, and that's where things really started to happen in your life. And if you don't mind, tell everybody a little bit more about that specifically, because I always say this, especially now with how we have the new videos set up, with how I redid the entire transformation, not just the 12 weeks, but then the mindset coaching phases also. I always say this, life is always going to throw curveballs, and life threw you some curveballs, man. And you had a great group of people that cared about you, held you accountable, and helped you through the hard times, man. Why don't you tell everybody, what has led to your final transformation of losing 130 pounds? Share the good, the bad, the ugly. Share your experience, man, with Heartletics.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, the first 12 weeks I lost 75 pounds, and, I was on top of the world, man. I was sky high. I never, started a program. I didn't imagine that I would lose, and you probably didn't either, that I would lose 75 pounds in 12 weeks. So I'm flying high, man. And like you said, you had told me at one point, when you're trying to change your life and do good things, the universe is going to throw things at you. Yeah. It's not going to be easy. And it was easy up until then, honestly. I mean, and I'm not going to lie. It was easy.
And let me pause, right? That's how we make Heartletics. Very
Absolutely.
Easy. Anybody can have success. But I always say this, it's very easy to do anything when life is good. It's when life throws you those curveballs, and that's where Heartletics really comes into handy. And obviously, as you know, right, having that accountability, having that support, in terms of life throwing you these curveballs, I want everybody to think about it like this. You go to the gym or you're working at home, right? You're doing some reps, you're building your muscles, right? But when life throws you those curveballs, that's when you're building the mental and the emotional muscles. And most guys these days are very weak mentally and very weak emotionally. And it's through those life curveballs where you get stronger. Honestly, would you say so, Jimmy?
Absolutely. Because as soon as my 12 weeks was done, I had something happen in my personal life that really shattered me. I mean, it crushed me. And I mean, I don't know if you remember, I signed up for a call with you, and my intentions on that call were to tell you I can't do this anymore. I have this going on, and I don't even think I was planning on opening up to you about my issue. But during that call, you really, you dug deep, and, you made me open up, and, we talked about it. You told me some things you had been through that were similar.
Yeah.
And, it just showed me that I have support here, that you cared. And, I knew I could get through it, with the help of people that, care about me.
Yeah. We started hopping on weekly Zoom chats after that just to talk, man. And I just always encouraged you to just be like an open book. I started putting, firsthand, just some things that has helped me, right? That's what we always say inside of our mindset coaching phases. These are just things that has helped me when I was going through depression, when I had suicidal thoughts, right? And it's just things that helped me. And I was like, hey, maybe it can help you too. And it definitely did. But also just having the support, the accountability of others,
Yeah.
So let's do this real quick, right? As we're putting things to a close here with the podcast, you went from a client, right, who lost 75 pounds in your first 12 weeks, surpassed a huge thing going on in your life with your personal life, right? And blew that out of the park, man, just absolutely building that mental muscle. And that's what led to sticking with the program. That's what led to you losing over 130 pounds. But now here we are today, Jimmy. I'm not speaking to Jimmy, right, anymore. I'm speaking to Coach Jimmy. And tell everybody, man, tell me, what is your roles, responsibilities as a coach? What is it like that you do? And you have very first, interaction with some of these guys that get signed up for our coaching program to really start giving them that internal inspiration and motivation to dig deep within, find out their why, and start, taking full advantage of prioritizing their health and making this full transformation, just like how you did, Jimmy. Tell everybody, man.
Yeah, well, my role is I'm a qualification coach. And what that means is guys that sign up for a call, they have to go through me before they can be admitted into the program. So how that works is, once you sign up for a call, we get your information, you fill out some forms, you watch some videos about tells you how Heartletics works. And then I'm going to start messaging you, and I'm going to try to get to know you. And, I'm going to let you get to know me and let you know my story and some of the other guys through Heartletics. And I want to know about you. I want to know what your story is and why you're on this journey. And then we have our call. And on that call, I'm going to let you tell me, just like I had the call with you, Coach Joe. I'm going to let you tell me what your goals are, why we're on this call. But what my job is to get deep, like you said, get their why. What's the pain?
Yeah.
What's really the pain? Because if you don't have a why, or you don't dig deep, and because you really, guys need help figuring that out. I mean, sure. I need, it's not something you think about as a guy. Like, I just want to lose weight. Well, there's a reason you want to lose weight. What's it? Why? Why do you want to lose the weight? What's it going to do when you do lose the weight? How's it going to make your life better? So that's what I'm trying to find out. Are you ready for this journey?
Yeah. Because
this journey is going to change your life. If you go open your mind and show up, like I like to say, show up, and you engage, this program is going to change your life. I guarantee you. And
would you say so even more now? You went through the coaching program, obviously like a year ago, right? And now we got, just recently, this past weekend, a few days ago, brand new videos. You got to see them all, man.
I gotta tell you, I'm jealous, to be honest, because if these videos are a game changer, I'm going to tell you, the way it just brings everything together in the program, with the big part of what we are now is the mindset, and bringing that all together with the nutrition, with the training and everything just coming together. And I wish, I'm jealous for these guys because, they might have better results than me. Someone might break my record, Coach Joe.
They might. Dude, they might. Like, these videos are golden. Everybody, all the coaches have seen them. Everybody's been blowing up my phone saying, like, the same thing. Like, dude, I'm jealous. Like, what gives, man? Like, why have you been holding out? But, hey, we made them now, and so anybody that's investing and prioritizing themselves, they're getting full access to them, But Jimmy, let me quickly talk, because somebody might be listening on the outside and being like, well, why would I have to talk to somebody to become a client? Why can't I just go on the website, pay for the program, and just download the app and start beginning it? And for anybody that's wondering that, well, that's not our job, right? Our job isn't to give you meal plans, and our job isn't to give you workouts. Our job is to transform and change your life. And going to a website, putting in your credit card information, downloading some kind of PDF, like, that's not going to change your life. Coach is coach, plain and simple. We're not this cheap one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter program. It's a life-changing transformation, and with guys that are in your corner that care about you, or, hey, you're going to have 24/7 access to us. We're going to be messaging you, motivating you every step of the way. And so we want to make sure that it's a good fit, right? We want to make sure that, hey, we feel confident, right, Jimmy, as yourself, as a qualification coach, that you can change this person's, that we can change their life. I think that's why we do these calls, to really just help clarify that. And Jimmy, as we bring things here to an end, I guess, what would you tell anybody or say that's tuning in for the first time? Maybe they haven't heard of Heartletics. They don't know who we are. Maybe they don't, know anything. And maybe they just decided to download the free fat loss guide. And now here they are watching this video, and they just got done hearing this amazing inspiration from you, brother, on how you lost over 130 pounds. And, from somebody that was scared, skeptical, you thought I was a robot at first, something deep down inside your why led you to scheduling a call, investing into your health, and making one of the best investments of your life. What would you tell anybody that's in their shoes right now, listening in, that's having those thoughts?
Well, first off, I was where you are. I'm no different than you. None of the guys in Heartletics are different than you. And that's another job of mine on the call, is to show you that you're just like me. I'm just like you. We're regular guys. But first, it's very simple. Honestly, once you're interested and you're intrigued, like I was with Heartletics, the same thing. You want to sign up for the call, right? So what happens is, when you sign up for the call, is you're going to get some information, some videos. You want to watch those videos, and I mean watch them, because it's going to change your life. It's going to give you insight into Heartletics. You're going to meet some of these guys you're seeing on the screen now that transform their lives. And you're going to see that Heartletics is more, it's not even a weight loss program, first off.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. We change lives. And I remember, Coach Joe, you saying this, your mission, you want to change 1 million lives.
Yeah.
And that resonated with me, and that's why I'm so passionate about Heartletics, and I love it so much, and it's why I want to be a part of it, is because I want to be a part of changing 1 million lives with you.
Yeah, I love that. Love that.
But yeah, really, open your mind and watch the videos and see what we're about, because you'll see that we care and what our mission is.
Yeah.
And then once we have the call, we're going to talk, like I said, and we're going to get to know each other. And I'm going to, I want you to open up. I want to see where your pain is. I want to see your why. And, once we get you into the program, it's all over then. As long as you show up, open your mind,
yeah,
you're going to change your life. And just like me, just like all these other guys.
It's very easy. Very easy. Like it's very hard not to succeed, right?
I mean, for years, you make yourself think it's so hard to lose weight. Like I don't know, you just give up.
Yeah.
But when you get help and someone shows you what to do, how simple it really is. I mean, I eat stuff I like every day.
Yeah.
And I lose weight, I eat pizza still. I eat wings it's just about learning how to do it the right way. Yeah. And it's very simple. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah. Like you make things so hard in your head, but I'm telling you, if I can do this and I can be where I'm at, and let me tell you, by any means, I'm not done yet. I still have a ways to go. But you can do it too.
For sure. And if anybody is, like I said, listening for the first time, you heard from Jimmy firsthand. The hardest thing ever is typically just admitting that you need help, right? And just, prioritizing yourself and being selfish. And, Jimmy, you talked about my mission statement with Heartletics, and that's to change 1 million lives. Yes, 100%. And I'm so selfish in doing that, right? Like I want to change so many lives simply because that's why I decided to make this brand new coaching program also with all these videos, because it goes over a step-by-step approach, combining these 7 fat loss habits for success, combining the mindset habits also into one program that is going to gear to help somebody not only learn how to burn body fat, building muscle, eat properly, train properly, but also all the tools to overcome life's adversity when life throws you those curveballs. And if anybody's interested, well, hey, we got a free fat loss guide over at heartletics.com. Or if you like everything that you heard, why don't you just talk to Jimmy? I mean, you heard firsthand, like his job is a qualification coach. Like you can simply just click anywhere at Heartletics, schedule a free call, watch the homework videos, fill out a transformation application form. I mean, shoot, I'll probably send over a personal, video after even going over your application form just to share with you like how we can potentially help you out also, and kind of, reminding you and giving you some information to look over a little bit more to help you out in the meantime before your call with Coach Jimmy. And then from there, it's game over, brother, because, you've been on so many calls now. And what would you say about the most recent guys that get signed up? I mean, you can already speak into existence, brother, that these guys, their lives are going to completely change and transform.
Hands down, especially now with the community group is just on fire now. I mean, it's just awesome. The people engage, coaches, everybody supports each other. There's nothing like it that I've ever seen. Yeah. It really motivates you. But that plus 3, there's Zoom chats we have each week, 3 of them. People are getting into that. I mean, it's just, it's crazy the amount of stuff that there is and the support you have. It's almost like in order to fail at this, you really have to try to fail. Yeah. I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like you have to try to fail here.
Yeah, I would say 100%. 100%. Like you cannot fail. We make it that simple. And Jimmy, that brings us to a close, brother. And first and foremost, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, man, for one, just trusting me and trusting Heartletics about a year ago when we had our discovery call and you decided to, make that leap of faith, man, and invest into yourself and become selfish. So thank you for doing that, because you have been through with me, right? And we helped, right, you, and now you're helping out others. So thank you, right, for scheduling that call, because now, right, you can help out others. And that's what we're doing here, trying to make the world a better place. And for anybody that's tuning in for the first time, hopefully you guys got some value. Take a big, gander into everything that we talked about in today's episode. Jimmy went over tips for success. He also went over, the top 3 biggest tips into, hey, what potentially makes guys fail at reaching their results, and, these 3 biggest mistakes. And just listen from some coaches that care and are ultimately just trying to make the world a better place. So with that being said, this has been Coach Joe and Coach Jimmy with Heartletics.com. And we'll talk to you guys all in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.